One might even consider it a one-sided affair, and that's exactly what it was, as we have seen not a sincere, almost borderline dumpster the team known as Fnatic, or formerly known as there, I should say. It's quite a shout, quite a scream if you're Fnatic right now, gasping for that last little breath of air before you find yourself sitting back in economy class on your way to Sweden and perhaps Belgium as well. But only time will tell if that's the case, and facing elimination is not something anyone ever wants to do. Isn't that right, Duncan Thorn Shields?
Indeed. Never been in a position to face elimination myself, but I imagine it's probably terrible. Much like Fnatic. Take it away. That was one of your throws there. That
wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. And, of course, we do have Maniac to his left, a madman in his own rights. And let's just start the conversation right here. What a disaster or a nightmare, one might say, for Fnatic, having picked this map and now being, dare I say, brute forced across their T-sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we established during the video that Inferno was a risk. Obviously, a good map for Na'Vi. But also, I think a very important talking point was Scrim's position as CT. I was very surprised to see he was playing the B rotation position, which has ups and downs. On the one hand, he has a lot of freedom. He can make a lot of decisions for himself, gives him autonomy. That's really good when you're a stand-in. But the problem with that, the downside of it, is that it requires a lot of coordination and team play. You're going to play a lot of setups with the A players. And the problem was for Fnatic, they could never take banana control, which means they never really had the possibility to play 4-player on A, only 1 on B, that being Creams, obviously. They were stuck in that 3-2 situation, which means Scream had to take a lot of decisions, and he had to coordinate with the A player, and that is not easy when you're standing.
No, it's a rough spot for a player like Scream, right? So this guy is a turret. Basically, you can put him anywhere, and he can fluctuate, and he can put some pain on the opposing team. But in this instance, was he being used appropriately?
I mean, he did an okay job. He got a decent amount of kills. The problem is, like, it only looked competitive this game because Fnatic started on the CT side. As soon as they went on the T side, they could get nothing done. Even on, like, there was one round where it was just a scout buy from Na'Vi, and they still got all the kills. I think won the round with the Deagle and Scout. So, actually, it was the scenario, like we said, when you have Simple and you have Electronic, what's going to be on the other side of the equation? Because this was a game, actually, where Crims was fairly quiet, fairly poor. They did rely on people like Drake and people like Scream, so it was hard to see how the Fnatic guys, rather, were ever going to win on this particular map from the way it played out.
Well, you talk about the other side of the equation, and perhaps we have had the chance to catch up with Scissorhands himself. Let's hear what James Banks and Mr. Edward have to say.
Thank you, Stunner. I'm joined by Edward from Na'Vi. Now, a very good performance for your first map there coming into it, especially from yourself as well. I just kind of want to get your feelings on it, because you guys have a pretty good record against Fnatic when you go head-to-head normally. So going into this matchup, was there kind of any real worries coming from you or the team?
Well, we feel pretty confident. I'm really calm, myself, I mean. So looking forward to play the second map.
Now, you definitely played your A game going into the second map. Obviously, it's coming into you guys' pick. You just think you're going to close it out 2-0 now, or is there any kind of thoughts that like, okay, this might be a little bit more difficult?
I wouldn't say that, because this is the time when you can like win the map, which is the opponent's pick, so it doesn't matter. We'll see.
All right, thank you very much for that, Edward. Much appreciated. Let's get out of here. Let's get it back over to Stunner. We got one more game ahead of us potentially, unless Fnatic can bring it back.
I could just hear in the voice there that there's really not a resounding hope if you're in the Fnatic corner. Moreover, Duncan, what is your takeaway from where Fnatic finds himself right now? What is their position and your thoughts on it?
Yeah, they're in a tough spot right now. As we said before, this is exactly the same setup as the first series of the day. Okay, on Inferno, maybe they have some chances. It's a map you can somewhat play by default. Everyone knows the rough way you're going to play on both sides. Switch over to Train, you've got to be, first of all, coordinated on the T side to get anything off. Usually it's a map you need a lot of utility on to make the T side work. And then on CT side, it's a map that's entirely predicated about making reads to rotate someone early. So, again, Scream's, in theory, not used to communicating in English. The Fnatic team themselves aren't that great on Train anyway. So it's a tough, tough ask. And I feel like at this point in time, it has to be fragging that gets you out of the hole. You have to just have some excellent individual performances.
And in reality, there was never a position or a situation over on this first map where Fnatic found themselves in the driver's seat. They never really had control of this matchup at all. I believe they garnered some 4 or 5 rounds on their CT side, which definitely doesn't set you up for a good second half regardless. But Maniac, going into Train, let's kind of dive into that now and perhaps give me some variables or conditions that would work in Fnatic's favor.
Well, I think Duncan said it pretty well. It's going to be aiming. It's going to be the entry frags that are going to be possibilities for Fnatic. The bright side is I didn't think they played so bad against Mouse Sports, which is, in my opinion, pretty proficient on train.
Sure.
So they didn't get destroyed, which is a good thing, I guess. But then again, the same problems as Inferno are coming, which is, tactically speaking, I think Na'Vi are going to be way ahead on train. That is for sure.
There was a stat it showed on the screen there where basically Na'Vi's won 9 of the last 10 games on train, and the one that they lost, I remember very vividly, was when they actually picked it against North, and then everyone knows North kind of walked on water in that event, you know, won a lot of maps you wouldn't expect. So this is actually quietly one of the strongest maps for Na'Vi as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we are talking win condition for Fnatic, I would say winning pistols and having the economy for you, which is kind of alleviates the pressure onto finding tactical solutions. If you have better weapons, you know you can wide peak more. We have seen it against Mouse Sports. As soon as Mouse Sports got to the point where they had double up, that was problematic for Fnatic. They didn't have the tactical solutions. So they need economical advantage on Na'Vi, which means basically winning the pistols. And they need here and there some individual prowess. They need someone to just unlock the rounds with a double, triple kill so that the in-game leader does not have to find a tactical solution.
And we saw them kind of stutter stepping at points. We saw them get bottlenecked in Banana and basically be shut down by just the sound of Simple's op at that point. Wall banging, this, that, and the other. All the banging that you can think of was definitely going down there on Banana. But if we look into Train, what players really need to come forward here from the Fnatic side and make a difference, make an impact?
Well, one thing that did, I mean, we saw the interview with the guy. One thing that feels a bit unfair if you're Fnatic is you're already facing Simple and Electronic, so you don't want to be the guy who sat there when Edward drops 20 plus and wins all his opening duels. Like, it's going to be hard to ever win a game in that scenario because that's one of the conditions you're hoping. So, yes, you're hoping Scream has a pretty good game. Definitely can happen on a map like this on the T side. Take some aim duels, see what can happen. Obviously, you want to see Crims come online because it's the stability that he gives you as a team. You know, it's not just the kills on the board; it's what it does for the other players. It's allowing someone to rotate off a site or to go in and get the follow-up kills. So, to me, he's always been the engine of the team, and I think that still holds now.
I agree. I would probably say for JW and Draken to find some crazy opening kills. I think they both have this aggressive component, which obviously they cannot rely on tactical aspects. So they need someone to unlock the rounds, and these guys could do it for them.
These guys can certainly close out the deal, and this is a situation where, again, Fnatic are potentially going to be eliminated after this map, or they can drag it all the way back to 3 and then pray and hope for the best that it comes together for them there. Either way, this could be a clear-cut and dry case of Na'Vi walking away with it.
I think it should be. I mean, as I said, statistically, it absolutely should be. You can't really know what to expect from Fnatic, so it's not impossible they can surprise us, but I would go ahead and say Na'Vi closes 2-0.
Na'Vi could be closing it out right here, but to bring you that action will be the aggressive pact of Henry G and Matthew Trivet. Take it away, fellas.
The pact that shall never be spoken about, and it's pretty aggressive, but we have a safe word.
Cucumber.
Yes. Frozen, preferably.
Anyway, back into the action. It will be Scream challenging up the top here. He is absolutely done for. Somehow gets away with it, and he actually lives to tell the tale. That's pretty insane. I thought he was absolutely dead there. But Edward at least has control of the Brown Halls now. I have to say, for me, if I had to put a percentage on this, it's like 90% Na'Vi win train, 10% Fnatic somehow steal it away.
Well, first and foremost, keep in mind that Fnatic last week with Flusha, or a week and a half ago, whatever you want to call it, the Major nearly made it through to group stages. They were in a deciding matchup at that event. Would have given us another Swedish team. And then you get rid of Flusha. You put them here against Na'Vi. They still, with Scream, almost won on train earlier in their first matchup against Mouse Sports.
We'll see what they can do. Na'Vi is a bit of a different beast compared to Mouse Sports.
14-7 against Mouse Sports, just to know.
Draken. Hello.
Brilliant. JW gets one more, has to fade off of it. Draken gets another angle. High above in control room. JW. Yes, for Wonder Child. As Edward takes him down eventually. That's the first kill. Only now for Na'Vi. But despite all of that, the HP is reasonably low. Crims is well down to 2, but it's not enough. He'll survive. So too Fnatic can take the round 1-0.
Certainly do. There we go. 1-0. Fist bumps coming through. Majority of the kills going in JW's and Draken's favor. Much needed pistol there on the CT side. Lose that, they're in a lot of trouble, but they still might do here. Na'Vi are going to force buy in the second round. We know what happened there when they did that on Inferno. As we get into round number 2 here. Most of the money spent. Zeus doesn't buy everything. There we go. Right at the very last second against Eagle Armor. Looking for opening picks here with the Desert Eagle. 3 of those weapons out. The Scout in the hands of Simple. He can do a lot of damage with the Scout.
Flamey's still trying to find a long shot with the Deagle. Nade hits Simple. He falls to 53. Good flash timing. Deter Simple. Force the beast from his hiding. Took the bear out of the cave. Hibernation season, Hank.
It's coming up.
Think I might hibernate this year.
What, for the entirety of the winter?
Thinking about it. Yeah, why not?
Crims with the MP5 here does damage. Can he find multiple frags? Not quite. This actually gets a little bit problematic now. As you've got Draken defending with the rifle. The bomb will be planted and Scream's coming in fast, but surely they'll be waiting for him. Oh my goodness, Electronic nails a shot. 2 versus 2 now. Simple on the Scout. He doesn't mess around with these sort of rounds. Hits Exist. They're still challenging him though. But Exist has snuck past towards the upper ramp here. I feel like he'll get the kill on Simple now, but a good smoke deployed. Even better shot from Simple. That's absolutely insane. And now Exist left in a 1 versus 1 against the end boss of CSGO himself, Simple. Defuse has to happen, but nice fancy footwork there from Exist. Manages to get on top of the bomb train and have a really problematic position, and Simple just didn't anticipate that, and he's taken down. But I'm telling you now, Na'Vi are buying this round.
Absolutely. They get it down to 1 player left alive at a bomb plant, no question. You're giving Simple everything in your power, his power, everyone's power to get kills, and they're going to get 2 AKs out. Zeus is going to drop both of them. Okay, sorry, 1 was thrown to him and then thrown. I was going to say, how does he have that much money?
That's a lot of money.
I was going to say, that doesn't make any sense, but the HUD showed it was someone else threw 1 to him.
So they'll give it everything they've got. And if you win this round, it'd be amazing for Na'Vi. They'll really sabotage Fnatic's attempts, but if they lose it, it could actually be a bit of a horror show. And this is the exact recipe Fnatic need to potentially win this map. These sort of force buys and very close rounds and clutches going in their favor. This is how it all begins.
Crims ready, and beginning of the end.
Get out of there.
It's a little early to call that, but you're right, get out of there. Indeed, he doesn't, but gets more. He gets Zeus. That's 2 kills, 1 rifle gone. Simple, however, and Electronic still have their AKs, and Electronic is
just like that.
brilliant. Walks out and takes the round back, potentially, as he takes down Exist. They still have to contend with Scream, who waits at the hitch. She's gotten Flamey back, but Electronic on 3, looking for 4. He's going to go down. I thought he had that in the smoke, I'm not going to lie. So it won't be the ace, but Simple left in the 1-on-2. That's not a bad prospect.
Certainly not. Capable of winning these for sure. 58 seconds to his name. Oh, what? How Draken just got absolutely owned.
Oh,
my God.
Poor guy. He had the first shots. He had the off angle. Crims has the bomb. Did he see it? Surely he did.
That's so insane.
He's going to hold A main knowing that Simple was inside. Simple's going to run towards spawn and make a lot of noise getting there. Crims should win this round now. Surely. He's not going to hear him yet, but surely he saw the bomb at the bottom of the stairs. Well, he's going to hear him now, either way. I would have thought he would have played closer to the connector. Interesting. But here we go. Simple now a true 1-on-1 as he's gotten that bomb.
He's just got a straight up plan here. It's against Crims.
He's not, though. What's on his mind? He's expecting a flank up the ladder to happen that quickly because he's expecting him to play in a rotation position.
He might have played himself. Either way, the bomb will be planted. Crims coming from the backlines now of Pop Dog, presumably. And Simple's just bailed. He could have gone for a more open plan there, but played it safe. Crims with the slight advantage, I guess, because of the HP and the fact that Simple just has no idea. And obviously, Crims knows his inside plan now, so he has to be around this area somewhere.
That's better, though.
Yeah, that's actually looking more compelling for me, at least. He still has flashbangs to work with. And, oh my God. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't think Simple read that. I don't think he even saw him or realized it came from under the smoke in the first place. Fires in, expecting him to be on it, knows now that he's not. He can start to play the time in his favor. Crims is off of it.
What is going on,
Simple's going for the knife. Crims will knife him instead, but it doesn't matter. Navi's going to win the round. That's a very awkward one-on-one.
That was super awkward. And now it won't be Crims to pick it up. Only 1 player survives. He does bring the AK to the next round. I didn't think Simple stood a chance. It looked like he dropped the ball a little bit. But under control, it seemed. The bomb was too far gone. And they're both trying to knife each other in the smoke there. It was an awkward 1v1, but Na'Vi do come out on top. They are going to force buy in response, Fnatic. It's actually the Galil that's brought over in the previous round. Did he not want the AK? I assumed it was available to him. Maybe this was out of reach. But either way, Galil for JW here on the CT side of Train. Edward holding up, looking for anyone pushing towards that upper ramp. And this is a very interesting round here. If Na'Vi pick this one up, I dare say it's going to be a landslide half from them. But if Fnatic can do it somehow, with the bare bones buy they have, a Scout, a Galil at M4, CZ57 on the CT side of Train. If they can pull this one off, we've got a game on our hands.
Keep building it up, Hank. I like what you're doing.
It's got to try. It's day one, trying to
Keep
build up to the
lobbing them
tournament.
over the plate. Eventually, you'll hit one out. That's a baseball reference.
I got it.
Okay. Home of the Yankees.
We are.
Flamey takes down Scream. Crims takes down Flamey. Edward takes down Crims, so follow that sequence. Edward should be the next to die, but he's not. Zeus takes out Draken instead, but it's JW. Getting at least the trade. He's got the Galil still to work with. It's 2-1. It's about to become 2-2, though, surely. Simple so far forward. Not really any access to the site on the Fnatic side. In fact, no kits. Still going to fancy their chances. JW thought he could get clever and get up the ladder and find a shot. Edward was watching it the whole time. So 2-2 indeed.
There it is. Na'Vi sabotage the finances of Fnatic there. The absolute favourites going into this one. We'll have an eco up against them now, as Fnatic can't justify anything really. In round number 5 has to be the default pistols. Silenced USPs across the board. P2000 slowly but surely going out of fashion. As we'll see, just the AKs for Na'Vi, a good chance to solidify their finances. You can see they're not great right now after the investments of the grenades and extra AKs that are required. And you want to go towards this upper ramp here when you go towards inside in these rounds, not the lower ramp. Simple, getting him down, he can do whatever he likes, but Draken actually looking pretty good today, takes him down. Nice long range duel. We'll get an AK out of that, but not the round. I think their main objective now is to save that AK.
Sure, as it should be. So 2, now 3. Fnatic had a lead against Mouse Sports that they nursed the whole time until the very end that let it slip away at 14-7. I think it was when Snack started the... Maybe it was 14-5 when Snack started the comeback. And with Na'Vi being as dominant as they are on Train, this being their map as well, not Fnatic's. Having a lead now with guns, with money in their favor, it looks pretty good. It's a nice, juicy, marinated steak waiting to go in the oven.
Well, Fnatic will save the AK-47. It's in the hands of Draken. That's not maybe the best news for him, considering he wanted... This is what the one map everyone says he's actually very, very good at, is Train. So we'll see whether this will limit him at all. The good news is he'll save some money at least against 2K going forward. But this is where we expect him to do his best work. But unfortunately, he is up against the absolute nightmare of Simple, as Flamey commits towards the outside push here. Looking at the first kill, can't do it. Scream takes him down. Has looked good in the aim department today, I will say that much. Opening frag in favour of Fnatic here. Electronic, though, has made his way down the back lines. Oh my god, what a shot that is. Beautiful stuff from Electronic. 4-4, it's all reset once again. I'd say on a map like Train, you don't necessarily have the same advantage you do on other maps because it's so open, and CTs can have so many positions when the Ts are trying to commit towards a single bomb site. But still, weakens up both sides of the maps for Fnatic when it goes down to the 4-4. JW has offered himself for free there, as he'll be taken down from main entrance. They are going to be a little bit discombobulated, of course, with the fact it's short. You might think it's just one player, but they've barely played with Scream. He's just trying to do whatever he can here. The setups will be off, the communication. I don't think Fnatic have played in many teams that are speaking English before. Maybe Exist has when Alu was in the squad. That would be about as far as it goes.
Yep.
But the other guys will not be comfortable communicating in English.
Well, gonna have to get over it. Unfortunately, the trend is, as is in other esports, we're getting mixed nationality rosters, Hank. They're showing up on the radar, and it looks like they're gonna be here for a while.
Absolutely. I had an interesting conversation with people the other day, like, oh, why didn't you guys ever try this in the old games? Because it wasn't actually viable to do that back then. There wasn't the same resources, and everyone has played. You played within your own nations, right? It's quite rare to players
together, ping together.
Yeah, exactly. It was just there wasn't the money to even justify that, or it was eligible to sort out visas and stuff like that. This wasn't really a thing. Very rarely one player might make it to a North American squad. That was about as far as it went. Yeah, exactly. That's a prime example. Draken, nice shot from him. Flamey will be taken down. Sort of 4-on-4. Flamey's going to give up his AK, but Simple will try his utmost to defend it. Grabs it and maybe hides it a little bit better than that.
I don't know what he's... I guess, yeah, he just puts it in a position so he can bait them in, maybe.
So they can't click E on it, essentially. I don't know what Electronic's up to there. Again, Na'Vi, for me, and the anti grounds, they get a little bit too carried away. And that's the difference between, I think...
He's going to do it again. Go get the other one.
The Astralis of the world and teams like this. Like, sure, very, very good, but Astralis will rarely be caught out.
It's a sneaky snake. Sneaky, sneaky snake. Draken up one ladder. Down the other, down one ladder, up the other. Whatever it was. It's got a deagle. He's above them. They have no idea. I think they've already cleared this. He might get away with a kill. Simple. Check it, though, and then he's completely triangulated in the trifecta of doom. Copyright Henry G. Edward going to take over Hell. So the slow pace. Not bad from Fnatic to, at 35 seconds, have this in a 3-on-3, but Simple now waits in the backside of the smoke for Exist to walk in. Fires a couple shots. In fact, fades him but looks away. I thought he was all well and good in that situation and had read it well, but it's bomb planted nonetheless. It's AK grabbed for Exist. Op as well in the hands of Crims. They could actually give this a whirl. Now, at the same time, they could save a lot from not going for this. I think they'll fancy their chances. Edward gets forced further and further away down Old Bomb. Zeus has JW. Other two guns start to come into question because it's a valuable asset, but they're on the bomb. It's a long way to run, no kid. So it's a very long way to run, and they'll get it done in the end on the Na'Vi side.
Absolutely will. Very chaotic round there. Na'Vi live to fight another day. Maybe not learning their lesson from being too aggressive at the start, but still, they win the round 2 versus 1. Double AWP set up for Draken and Crims. Now, normally you'd assume JW would pick up the secondary AWP, but I guess anything goes in this rather peculiar complexion of Fnatic. And we'll see Crims presumably heading inside from what I can see right now. Is he going for an aggressive inside push with the AWP? We're just going to hold him to the lower ramp. I think it'll be the latter, if I'm honest. As he holds up for any sort of usual flight paths from Edward, who normally operates in this area. Very good at getting brown holes, actually. Doesn't take any damage. Pushes the AWP back, and now they know this could be a double AWP setup, considering it's Crims who is holding that position.
GW trying to get back up on top of the bomb train. A little bit of flame damage onto Edward. It tends to happen on Twitter from time to time as Scream gets an 8 out in the face of Electronic. That's actually going to amount to a kill, although not for free. He's gone down. It's cost him his life. Contra Dim will take his soul. As JW slides up tanker. That's being launched by Simple. I say that every time it looks like Simple has it all figured out. He looks away at the wrong time. JW gets by him. He stays alive and gets closer to the bomb train. Simple's trying to figure out where best to shoot. Knife instead. He's just waiting. Go ahead. Defuse. Defuse, lads. Defuse. Oh! JW! He knows it! It's going to be a straight knife fight. Right clicks, or excuse me, left clicks inside of... Which one's left and right again? Inside of the smoke. That was awkward, and it's still going to go to Fnatic.
That was incredible.
JW tried to simple.
Yeah, and actually... It's the most confusing finisher round I've seen in a while, but Fnatic will come out on top. Knife fights are plenty, especially when JW and Simple on the server, but Fnatic will find their third. Na'Vi definitely with cash in the bag, Simple by the AWP. As they don't seem to be celebrating too emphatically over there, but, you know, building up into it. This is the second map. It could be our final map of the evening, if I'm completely honest with you. But the shotgun's out for JW. The AWP's there for Crims, and indeed Draken once again as well. Molotov towards the Ivy position to push back any CT aggression. Seems like a little bit of overkill for me, but either way, it stops that AWP and close M4 setup we usually see as they get Simple across. Pre-fires the smoke, no one there, and he'll fall back feeling like he can't do anything more.
spamming out toward the trains. That's cool, Cameron. That's something that I wouldn't mind seeing, is a little bit more paper-thin walls, perhaps. The problem is in the meta with the defaults and stuff, it becomes really predictable as to where you shoot. I suppose you adjust. I just kind of like miss like the nuke style of like, I think this guy's going to be on rafters. Let's go outside on the roof and spray him down before we even take the site. That was kind of fun, right?
There's things to be said about it.
Pros
from
and
both
cons,
sides.
I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like this version, when you have some things that are wall bangable,
Yeah,
not everything.
it is a
that's
balance.
Cool.
But I think that some things like, I think there's certain situations where there could be more.
Sure.
That's not bad, J-Dub.
Gets 2.5.
2.5 men, like Charlie Sheen.
Exactly.
Yeah, good show. Winning, that guy. Electronic slides down toward Hell, and he's got the AK in hand. Scream at the electrical box, only managing one, but it's fine because the trades go in favor of Fnatic nonetheless. It's all under simple as exists to down Electronic. 7 seconds, round done. Na'Vi are going to give up 2 in a row and avoid resetting. Avoid resetting? They don't get to reset Fnatic. I made it sound like it was a good thing. It's not, from my perspective.
Well, there it is. Money starting to dwindle now for the Na'Vi side. Zeus has 8k, though. Simple saves the AWP. We'll see whether this is going to be enough. Edward with enough of the AK armor. This is them deliberating now. They have taken a pause. Na'Vi win 47.8% of their rounds on their T side of train, 52.4% on counter-terrorist. So, what do you take from that, man?
Yeah.
Do you want to break that down for us, or?
No, well, see, I'm assuming that's only in games 1 because that equals to 100%. Or is that...
No, so it's 47% of T side that they win. So they win. That's still quite, considering it's a CT
no,
side
because it said 47.6, 52.4. Add that up was 100%.
No, you don't listen. It's 47% of T side rounds they win.
Yes.
And then you
But
reset.
then on CT side...
That's nothing to do with the previous stat.
Okay. Because the weird thing is it equals 100, which is why I was like, how does that make sense? The numbers actually...
Oh, you adding them up?
Yeah,
well,
and I was like, because that's what I thought it meant, but then when it equaled 100% and then it divided, I was like, is that when they win
Those
games?
are 2 different stats, essentially.
Yeah, I got you. Which in that case,
fair enough,
that's pretty good.
Confusing. If you
they're
added
good
that up,
on
and that's
both.
where you got to. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's because if it hadn't equaled 100, then I would have been like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it equaled 100. Point is, Hank.
Anyway, the point I was going to say from that is 47%, considering it's a CD-sided map, that's very high.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Yes.
The fact that they're that indifferent to side and still successful speaks volumes about the map.
Indeed.
Or their skill on.
We got there in the end. Perfect. Anyway,
I
4 and 4.
confused myself by some incredible mathematics.
Draken looking sharp. That was very quick and quite beautiful from Draken. 4 on 1 now. That's the round shut down. It was a force buy from Na'Vi. They took the pause, went for an aggressive outside play. And it's Electronic who's going to do whatever he can here to cause some financial chaos. The fact that AWP was there, that's why he didn't fire straight away, because he's like, well, he's scoped in, he might not see me. Baiting out, this is incredible. This could be a 4-on-1 victory for Electronic.
Old bomb rotation, down towards CT, wrap it back, then through Z connector again.
Oh, he's got them scared now.
I'm just kidding, I'm not going to, that's a bad idea. But you're right, he's playing this to time. Doesn't quite get away with the shot. That's going to draw in the attention of JW, and eventually they do get him down. That was very well started off by Electronic. If he had pulled that round back and won it, that would have been probably the round of the day.
That was quite impressive from not only Drak and then Electronic to bring that down to such a close situation. This second shot, or I should say third. There we go. Boom. Crazy. That's what we need to see from him more consistently. Because we know he can do it, just need to see it more often. 5-5. Fnatic have broken the back of Na'Vi. They're finally down to just pistols here. But they have invested quite significantly in. The Eagles are out. CZ's 2. Round 11. Let's see whether Na'Vi can cause any sort of damage here. I'm not sure this is the round. Especially on a map like Train. A bit more than just 2 smokes and pistols to be able to pull it off. But we'll see. Against the double orb setup, if a few shots are missed, they get close through those smokes, they can all fall apart. If you give Simple an orb, the bomb's planted, who knows what could happen.
Simple with the Deagle looking again toward the Ivy. position, and JW is going to need more than a few aspirin.
He's been absolutely wrecked.
Because, as Richard Lewis would say, he's got his wig split. Shout out to Richard Lewis. Miss you, bro. I hope prison's treating you okay.
I think he's the king.
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah. He's got a couple shivs ready to roll. He's got a couple guys doing the dirty work for him.
Just to put out there, no one's in prison. This is all jokes.
Just Forrest.
Yeah, don't think that's fine. But anyway, oh, I forgot about that Forrest thing. Okay, anyway, this is about to be a really exciting moment. Scream might go down here. Needs those taps now. Doesn't quite convert all the shots. He's only good for one. The bomb's been planted. Draken, no. Not like this.
No.
Oh, he had such a sick round before.
You said it so convincingly. No.
Yeah, it's just like as soon as he did 10 of those bullets USB, you know he's done for. He's overcommitted.
Well, speaking of pistols, there are many on the Na'Vi side, one of which has been now upgraded to an AK, and they sit in a 4 versus 1 against Crims, who has just the AWP. So clutching back with that weapon, considering how quickly he'll be overrun, is unlikely. He'll hold at the server in hopes that they'll overlook his position in Ivy. They may well do. Zeus, the only one that's hot on his heels and has an AK. If he swung, he could get him and will. So there you go. Keep the up. 5-5. Deadlock broken. Goes in favor of Na'Vi.
He's at the server, man. He's put up his firewall to protect himself.
I like it.
Yeah?
Does he have a VPN?
That's what I thought you were going to go with when you said server. I thought Matt's got an opportunity there. But I was waiting for firewall. I was waiting for the incendiary to go down. I got it. And I'm really happy at that one. It's probably my best work today. Here's the opening pick from Simple. That is just a complete good night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's up to Zeus to shut it down, and then as soon as Draken came flying out with the USP, that for me was the end of the round. And it's going to be 6-5, and they have bought Crims. Oh, sorry, he saved the ult, didn't he? I'll take that all back. And they'll take an eco. So these rounds definitely possible, but like Fnatic, if there was the full Fnatic right now, the proper Fnatic, I would say 7 rounds on the CT side of train is definitely recoverable. They need like 12 on the CT side right now to take down the mighty Na'Vi. They, in my opinion, look much better on their CT sides generally. As they jump across, not really any need to, but I do know they're almost available, so fair play. Gets him down to 17 HP, but Scream can't find the initial kill. Edward will take him down and take an AWP. He's low HP, and means he can just hold back and stay alive. That's the objective of that swap. So Crims does manage to take down one. AWP in hand. Can he get anything more done? That's the real question. One is not going to be enough.
Crims just chilling with his green snake. It's like a viper or like a cobra or python. Rattles. Rattlesnake, there's a legendary UK player. We should have had him bring the trophy on stage at Face It Major.
That would have been, like, no one would know who the hell that is. They'd be like, oh, who's this dude? Like, that would have made, yeah, maybe 5 years ago we could have done that. But I don't know, no one would recognize him.
Simple's got the shot on Edward. Crims has 2 in the round. He's actually found Flamey as well. This is actually turning around because there wasn't anything other than the Crims saved off, but he gets 2. And what was the 4 versus 2? You're right. 6 seconds. He can't get the ball in there in time.
He can't.
Oh, just barely.
Yeah, like half a second in that, if that's. So, Draken was just praying in the corner, hoping there was a chance of it, but saved by the skin of their teeth there. It's Draken. The 5-7, and Simple will take him down. That could have been an absolute disaster for Na'Vi, but they stick the landing. You get the 10 out of 10. Perfect. 7 plays 5. Crims, I have to say, it seems like he's calmed down somewhat in the last few months. I guess this event has no reason to be that passionate and invested. Slamming deaths and stuff, you can't have that high expectations going into this one. But either way, 2018 has been such a turbulent year for them. You look back to the beginning of their winning Katowice, everyone said they're back. That's it now.
Got a golden.
Yeah, then got rid of the catalyst of their success. Now they've lost the...
That, to me, by the way, seems to be the mentality that the North American teams used to struggle with, is that it doesn't matter if you're new and you've done something good, we want our old guard, and we're going to just bring an existing.
Sure.
Like, I'm not sure. Like, Golden was, as you said, a catalyst for that. Anyway, he's in Cloud9. He's got Flusha back, so... Draken, oh, this is prime.
He's going to do well here.
He's going to do very well. He's got a bright future in front of him. What a young man. Too bad he's dead. Electronic now left in a one-on-one.
So Exist has no keys. Have to hope that maybe Electronic plays himself. What? Are you kidding, Electronic?
That's
Are you kidding right now?
ballsy as hell.
It's sick.
It's going to work.
Yeah, it is. But like, no one's got the balls to try this. But it absolutely is going to work. I guess like when you think about it, the timing's not that crazy.
He doesn't want to risk getting caught going back to the bomb. Now he guarantees himself having a direct line of sight to it, and that's unreal. That is so good.
That's actually sick, though, isn't it? Like, just to like have the awareness to know this is going to be fine. There'll be no problem here at all. And it will be 8-5. Oh my goodness, another eco required. 2-0, pretty much written all over the walls right now. It's up to Fnatic to try and get these last 2 rounds, and they're going to get 5 HE grenades by the looks of things. They'll throw those to main entrance. That's where Simple will normally be residing. And remember, these are the sort of rounds Na'Vi will be sloppy on. When they start doing really well, they start letting things go slightly. You know, they start looking like everyone's running around doing their own thing and enjoying themselves a bit too much, especially in anti-eco rounds. And they'll drop players. I'm not saying that's going to happen now, but we saw a bit of a glimpse of an Inferno. There's no snow, there's only smoke being thrown, there's no flashbangs. It's just like everyone just take a duel. We'll probably win, which it probably will, but let's see if it gets a little bit. There we go. That nade just did about 200 damage to him.
HP, mind you, is not great on this Na'Vi side. Electronic will take down Scream. Exist, I don't think is going to collect on any of these post-dated checks. Might get it. Oh, okay, fair enough. Electronic slowed the pace. And he gets him. Too slow, holding on. 9-5 for Na'Vi. Hank, just in case you were wondering, give you the update. In case your rabbit ear antennas were not configured correctly.
Do not adjust your set. Everything is under control.
That's a very British thing, isn't it? Saying everything, like kind of like hardening the end of it instead of thing.
Everything. Yeah, you're right. I guess I never really thought about it.
I've noticed you doing it forever, and I was like, just British, but I thought I'd ask you about it now. Finally,
it's not intentional.
I know it's not, but it's just and it's not just you. I'm not pointing at it. It's very British.
I'd say it's more of a southern British thing, or English, I should say. Like we're quite good at not pronouncing our T's, especially. And like that's why I speak more like proper English. So a lot of people from my area will use a lot more slang and have more of an accent. I have more of like a BBC sort of accent, I guess.
We talked about BBCs already tonight.
We did.
Henry.
You threw that one on right back at me. Have to be careful
you
what
do
I
like
say.
when people throw the BBC at you.
I give you an inch, you'll take
I'll give a.
Yeah. Anyway. That's the last one.
You left the door open a million times there.
I know.
Edward takes down Exist. It's a 4-on-4. That is a trade by Edward, which is not terrible considering there's 57 seconds. The defense can now be somewhat pleased with their efforts, but they can't be pleased with this. Zeus getting in behind all of them. Goes to control room. Now, this is actually smart because being up here, any rotation that they want to do outside, he can pretty much spot it all. So in transition, on execution, he can catch. Okay, fair enough. Thought you were smart, Zeus. It's fine. And missed his opportunity to go toward Draken. They know where he is, but they don't want to face him. He will get behind. Flamey's going to get the kill. It all works out in the end.
Last round, ladies and gentlemen, is 4 versus 3 for Fnatic here. As Fnatic, after going out in the groups of the major, the same thing might be happening here. JW only good for 1. They can't find much success. It's Crims who's got the AWP. 14 kills to his name. Edward pretty much solidifies the chances here. Just Crims. And not really much hope as he's got a no-scope. Simple. But the trade comes through. Zeus closes it out. And we'll take a 2-minute break to, not on this broadcast, just to make, the players are entitled to it if they want it, just to discuss their tactics, their pistol approach, but this is Na'Vi looking incredibly comfortable here. 10 rounds on a T side, considering you're up against a quote-unquote mixed team, you know, like someone who's just got a last-minute replacement and they're not going to be playing their proper formations or strategies. You have to, like, you've got to lock in here. There won't be too much pressure on you. And remember, they lost the pistol as well and got 10-5, so that's quite impressive for Na'Vi in that respect. If they'd got the pistol, I dare say there's going to be the 13-2 half of them. But either way, we'll look to Fnatic to see if they can answer back on their T side. They've got 3 sets of armor so far. Scream and Exist yet to buy. Like we said, they do get a little bit more allocated time to discuss their options going into the next round. Crimson Coat looking quite subdued over there. I said I even caught up with Sam Matthews in London, the owner of Fnatic, and obviously it's difficult times for the squad right now. It's been a very difficult year, and difficult to really kind of understand why this has happened and how they've got here after
the highs and lows. No, it's been peaks and valleys.
And he just said to me, like, we've got plans for the future, but right now we need to get through this event, and everyone's aware of that as being professionals, you know, and getting through it. Like, shout out to Scream, doing his best here. It's not the case you can just drop in and be sick in a team like this. You need to understand how the strategies work. You need to know where the timings are and when you can exploit and make the most of your talents. But he's doing a good job, and that's a great nade by Zeus. That's going to do a ton of damage. You've got the 5-7 to back it up. Gets one, just a note, and Crims and Draken are going to town here. This could actually be a Fnatic round, but maybe not 2 versus 1. Flamey and Simple, I should say, up against Draken here. He's actually doing quite a good job of pushing down further, knowing they're low HP.
Remember that Fnatic did win the first pistol as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of telling in the fact that it is now 10-5. Draken not with bomb, but it is not far from him. As big rotation from Simple. He'll go back out toward the ladder. He's only got 4 HP to work with. He's got the kit as well. Flamey has the armor. Simple has a smoke. He can definitely deploy that and try and take advantage of the defuse.
So they allow him to plant, essentially. And then they're just holding the choke point, so he can't fall back towards outside, for example. Simple knows there's plenty of time here. If he holds his angle the entire time and just completely wrecks Draken, you've got to just ask yourself, like, how good is this guy at the game? How does he get himself in the best positions at all times, even though they don't know what the bomb is? He seems so confident as where he's positioned. Now timed it to perfection, of course. He's like 30 seconds. He's probably not going to be falling back at this point. Now can probably hear Draken as he starts to rotate in. If he hears the plant go down, he'll start to creep forward. He won't rush him. He'll just wait for his chance to take down Draken there. Doesn't quite nail it, but does make things uncomfortable. Draken actually wins the duel. Yeah. I didn't think there was any chance there.
All that, and that's how it ends. What a response was that? How quick did he just snap over to Flamey?
Awkward, but amazing for Draken.
Well, that's 2 pistols for Fnatic. You brought up the point earlier, not talking in Swedish. It's not something that this team would be used to. At that point, you kind of made this known, but this is the first time they've had a non-Swedish player in Fnatic for, what, 4 years?
I'm trying to think.
More than that. Ever in that core.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think anyone's ever stood in for them either. Like
that's what I was trying to think about. That's I guess where I was going more importantly was like I don't think they've even had a stand-in from outside of the country before.
No, I think you're right. Obviously, they all play like the pugs together and IFL and all that sort of thing. So it's
different and unofficial though, right?
Absolutely, it is. But they'll at least be competent. They know the call. It's not like they'll go into we don't know how to call in English. They'll be able to play the game.
But this might be like the last roster that has that, like a core that has never played with anyone other than their country mates.
Virtus Pro.
Okay, well they're gone now. More to the point.
Sure.
But yes, you are right. Yes. But I guess they had Mihu stand in a few times. Who's also Polish, so that counts. But this would be like the last of the old breed.
Well, this is why we said it even at the majors, where 2018 has kind of led us. We're going to see more and more names just vanish and cores just separate. But remember, Na'Vi's so good at these sort of force buys, but exists with a great shot there. He's got to take down Flamey, who's in connector right now. Both pistols for Fnatic. Can they convert this one? The second round getting a little bit dicey for them. Zeus right next to them. God, Fnatic like a bit of a mess right now, but Draken's actually been playing very well, I have to say. He brings it back to a 3-on-3. Is that enough? Simple, can't connect the dots. And Electronic left with 3 kills to find. It's all fine for Fnatic here. Force buy not successful for Na'Vi.
Electronic, discipline from range. Unfortunately, did take a shot in the end of that, so didn't stay at 100 HP to give himself really a chance. But playing angles in his favor, certainly. CZ picking apart at JW, who's had enough of that. Poke the bee, provoke the bear. Can't really poke a bee, I suppose, can you?
Full eco. Na'Vi will have to wait to close this one out.
They'll wait. They'd rather wait and be smart about this surely and close it on this second map than go into a third.
Well, the loose and aggressive playstyle they have in terms of the finances, they definitely are capable of giving these sort of games up. Both pistols going in favor of Fnatic. Still going to be 10-8 down. I say 10-8 because I don't... Simple's actually invested fully into this round, just to know. Hello?
Hello.
Simple, this is how you start losing these games. Simple's down to $400. Okay, if they win this now, I'm going to actually be quite ill.
It's all right,
Every time I call them out,
don't worry.
every time I call them out, it always goes, well, they've won the round anyway. Like, he's just, for no reason, got a CZ and a helmet as well. There's no reason to do that at all. Like, you've won this game. Electronics dueling an AK with Mach 10 at about 200 meters. So, it's very difficult for me to analyze, but we'll keep going with it.
We shall continue. Henry has not called a stoppage to the match. Crim's waiting with an AK, waiting at this point to see if anyone's going to walk out. But the problem is that time continues to tick. "40 seconds, and Flamey still with that deagle. He waits and gets another. Oh my goodness, more than just one, as he nails Crims as well.
Oh!
And look at this man go. 4 kills, 4 shots from a deagle in this round. Just Draken left to find. Flamey's looking for it. He's desperate for it. It would be one of the prettiest aces. It's not going to be, but that is still an incredible round from Flamey.
How do you even explain that?
Magic.
Oh, no. Yeah, that really says it all. It's like, well, it's a good try, guys. We did our best.
That's
Got both the
unreal.
pistols. Not really much you can say about that one, I'm afraid. Flamey with some sensational deagle shots there. You don't see that every day, maybe not even every tournament. That's kind of fascinating how he's pulled that one off. We'll get into round number 19, Force Buy and Response, and the MP5's out, the AK's there as well. Let's, while we're waiting for this round to finish up, let's maybe edit a frag video now in production and get that one ready to go for next round. Let's get us some like slow-mos on it.
Just add some bass to my voice, make me sound a little better. That'd be
Yeah,
alright too.
and let's get like some sparks and some stars flying out the gun every time he fires it.
Instagram filters.
Yeah, I put some rabbit ears on the players he's killing. Something like that. Can you do that next 30 seconds? I'm sure you can. It's easy.
Thanks, Tom Eric.
We'll look at that in a little bit. AKs, Deagles, and the MP5 doesn't seem like the mix. If Na'Vi had this, they'd probably be winning it. Fnatic, though, I'm not sure this is going to be the round that gets them back in the game. We will see. They're being very patient and hoping they can find the same sort of success with the Desert Eagles that Flamey found before. Amazing stuff from him. Sub 1 minute now, as Fnatic haven't really made much of a move yet.
Simple holding hell. Wait with the AK. They're going to walk down. Definitely going to head that direction. Flash is out. He's aware of it. He's certainly ready to fight as they jump around. A little bit awkward on his accuracy towards Exist. That doesn't even time enough to reset. So Draken's able to put him immediately into the grave, but it's Edward and Electronic to make up for it.
There we go. Looking very efficient here. Na'Vi might find their 13th round there, Matt, because it might sound a little bit odd, but the fact is that Fnatic have now spent all their cash. They'll have to take a full eco next round. You have to be Glocks, no armor. Maybe an inside rush towards upper, try and get the bomb planted. Zeus will buy an MP9, knowing that their money is completely wrecked here. And this is just Na'Vi on cruise control. And I'm just going to reiterate it one more time. This is an elimination game. This probably is the final map. And Fnatic will be taken out of the tournament in the group stages like they were at the Major. The first time this group of players, the core of Fnatic, didn't make it to the playoffs. It was a very sobering moment for CSGO and really kind of left quite a weird atmosphere, I think, over the whole Major. The fact we only had 1 Swede there and 2 British players. But for now, Scream & Co. actually getting it done with the Glocks here. This could actually be a round victory. Simple's still alive, but they're going to get a plant at least.
A plant is a start. It also converts carbon dioxide into oxygen, which will give them some breathing room, Hank. But Simple's going to swarm on top of Scream, suffocate him in the process, and JW, not with much to hold on to, as Electronic staring him down on the alleyway. That's some good pre-fire from Crims, but he's got to run through. That's not bad either. Actually denies the plant. He might die, and the round might still be lost. But you know what? You got to give him credit.
If that was a movie scene, he would look like the hero.
He was a hero.
Yeah, you just cut the scene there.
Freedom!
Right.
Yeah, you know.
But
That guy says it a little cooler than I do.
they get the plan, and they would have been able to buy anyway, so it's not like it's the ultimate hero play. But still, a close round. If they can win these rounds now, it's certainly taken some money out of the pockets of Na'Vi, but 13-7 up in the CT half. Yumpy's kind of stopped at the fist bumps now. This could be a few more minutes before we say goodbye to Fnatic. They do have 5 AKs though. I have to say, this map for me, Draken's been the MVP of Fnatic. He's got 18 kills, some really high impact moments as well. Crims at the very top, 19 kills. Those guys did not deserve to be on the losing squad. Scream 8 and 18, and we're not going to call him out for low stats here. He's just been chucked into the deep end, playing very technical maps against a team that really do thrive on train. Scream can't really be expected to just play a position and find tons of kills when he hasn't really been set up. He's just filling holes at this point. So unfortunately, the guys on the desk, and I think Alex mentioned earlier, he's in the shop window right now, but if he gets chucked in a sort of situation like this, like a very difficult team to play against, and you get knocked out of the group stages, it doesn't really fill your confidence that he's going to get picked up by a top team going forward. It's difficult to think where his place in CSGO lies right now, but
Yeah. There surely has to be some.
I think in an international squad, but he's been in those before. That Kingwin team he was in really wasn't.
Michael Lele.
Michael Ailey, that was Rain as well, Jacob, and there were so many different iterations of it. It's difficult to keep up. Fox.
Fox.
Yeah.
Fox.
But like Scream wasn't exactly, that wasn't his most iconic team or anything. It wasn't even his most kind of talked about. It was almost nothing. It turned into FaZe though, to be fair, that entire project.
Yeah,
So
it did. The only one remaining is Rain.
indeed.
Electronic waiting towards A main, a little bit late in his shot, so didn't quite catch the cross. This will start to work his way in. Scream,
See
that's,
ya.
thank you very much for teaching me that. I used to watch your demos. Electronic takes down Crims and Zeus to close it. Na'Vi now finds 14, doubling that of Exist. Fnatic and Exists total on 7. And that makes us that much closer, or takes us that much closer to our final destination for today. And unfortunately, that destination would be either LaGuardia, Newark, or JFK. There's 3 choices for Fnatic.
Or they could stay and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, that too. It's fine.
That is an
It's
option.
fine.
Time
You don't
out.
have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That's good. I like that. So, timeout. Not a lot of talking going on. Just taking it all in. Exist is chatting somewhat, but they've got CZ's 1 AK in the hands of Crims. Scream still has. They're not even fully investing into this round. They're going to try and hopefully win this with the little they have. CZ's 1 AK. And then close it out with 8 rounds in a row on the T side. That's the play they're going for here. They're not fully investing at all. Scream and Draken still with 2,500. They really are reaching if they think this round's going to work out for them. But definitely capable of doing it. It's just like such a difficult call to make. Say, right, we're not going to buy. We're going to let them get to series point. And it's not really working out.
I don't even think he would have survived the gauntlet run there anyway. There was so many flames down, so actually he just got put out of his misery. Did JW in that instance. They've still traded this back. You're right, Screaming Crims, giving them the advantage, and Edward just gives himself up.
I hate this game sometimes. It's so difficult to really analyze anything like that. But rushing Ivy with one player taking a bit of aggro, it works out for them, and we could see all the rounds at this point, maybe even overtime.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
If Simple saves the AK, and I say if Simple, like if it was anyone else, I would say save it. Simple might fancy his chances here. It looks like he's got better ideas. They can still force off this. Zeus has enough money for it. Edward can purchase for himself. Simple will drop 1. Electronic will be able to be fine. So they still have a purchase left on the Navi side. They're not done yet, per se, in terms of the comeback being fully on.
He was trying to block them from leaving the bomb site.
I get it.
And go down with the bomb.
It was worth it.
Yeah, but that would have been kind of interesting. He took all 3 down because he didn't let them leave. That would have been a really sick moment, actually. So I respect the effort.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. It would have been cool to limit their money, and then you break them again, and you can take back control. But like I say, they would have had a much more stable buy this round.
This is Simple we're talking about, though.
It's true. He's
This
always
is his
up to
server
something
map.
clever. Is it?
They just play here, the rest of them.
Oh, that explains why he's so good.
Yeah, 14-8. Still, he has his orb. He'll be happy with that. probably had to get dropped by someone else.
Yeah, it was,
But
definitely.
It's like, right, I've lost that gun, trying to make that play. Can you give me an ult now?
Yeah, I would have given you the AK, I swear.
Yeah.
I'll get you next time.
I guess more simple ones, simple gets sometimes. Either way, looking for that elimination point. Na'Vi just need one. Fnatic will need a bit of a miracle to stay in the tournament at this stage. We are loving this transition. It's quite beautiful. Down the ladder. That Molotov won't quite reach Electronic. You can throw it on top of the Pop Dog Room as well to push out his position, but he holds strong, and they go for an inside play here. We've got a classic CSGO strategy. JW alone at Ivy, Zeus and Crims. Crims going to win this battle, I would say. That's actually really, yeah, that is really nice play. Nice little shoulder piece to get the spray coming through, then capitalize. Might not get anything more out of this, but still remove Crims from the equation. Now, Zeus, you want to stay in there, but it's going to fall apart as we go to a 3 versus 3. Simple, so aware, doesn't quite get the kill, but seems to want to keep challenging it. This is quite interesting. Bomb will be planted, and looks like Fnatic might take the round.
They might now, yeah. Simple got preoccupied having spotted the shadows. They couldn't control. Down toward the bomb train. That's very fast as Simple barely got exist. In fact, through the edge of the train, and Flamey takes advantage of it. Don't call them out of it too soon, Hank. That's pretty impressive. 15 really rounds Na'Vi.
Yeah, those sort of rounds, though, when you go 3 versus 2, and the positioning they had, you didn't think Na'Vi had the advantage there, but out of nowhere, Flamey hits all the shots required. Scream gets blown out the water as he holds towards that lower ramp, and that's the reset. So with the bomb down, though, they still have quite significant money. They should have 5 rifles still, I believe, maybe 4.5. SMG thrown in, but Flamey finish things off. This is when I thought that's no chance he wins that duel against Scream. He's got the AK in that position, but somehow works out for him. There we go. Round 24, 15, 8. 7 in a row now. Like I said, 4 rifles, Draken with a Deagle. Let's see what they got left.
Flamey takes down Crims. It's going to be Na'Vi hopefully cleaning up quickly. Scream seems to get his name in there every now and then, though, in these rounds, doesn't he? But he's taken care of this time by Edward. We sit in a 4-on-1, just Draken remaining. And Na'Vi will continue forth upon this epic journey of dominance in New York City. Fnatic will not. They will depart us now.
As expected, you can't really dissect this one too well. Like going into it, like Fnatic, their only chance really for me was an Inferno. Maybe the third map comes in, they can use that momentum and do something with it, but Train's just too technical. Na'Vi are too strong right now, and everyone shows up on the Na'Vi side. Fnatic, they did well to get 8 rounds in my opinion. Draken had a good game, Crims dropped 21 kills, but they can't be too disappointed or angry at themselves. What can you really expect coming into here with like 1 day's prep with Scream? I guess that's a little bit disheartening for him. He had 1 good map with the squad, but overall, he'll have to keep showing himself off so he's going to be picked up by any significant teams going forward.
Well, with that, Henry, I will say we are going to go to the analysts. And as for you and I, we're going to go to the Cosmic Diner.
Thank you for highlighting the true pinnacle of New York City. Matthew,
Please
Trivet,
do not Google that and come and meet us.
do not Google that. In fact, if you do Google that...
That was an invented name. There's no such thing as a Cosmic Diner.
Yeah, because, you know, Duncan tends to hold late-night meet and greets there. You might catch him there tonight. You never know. You never really know where the wild world of Duncan goes.
Exactly.
Or where they go when the doors close. Let's talk about the doors closing, though, here on this Fnatic project, I suppose. This obviously was an interesting one coming into this. You talk about Scream coming in here and having to stand in now that Flusha has moved onward. But really and truly, was this just a statement for Na'Vi to say, hey, you know what? Slow start. We're not out of it. We're still here.
Somehow I feel a little bit bad for Fnatic. Like, considering they lose 2-1 against Mouse Sports, very close second map, then they have to match up against Fnatic. You've got to feel for them.
Yes, I mean, like, to be fair, if you are Fnatic, like, I'm not sure what Mouse Spots. I'm sure the rankings have just been updated, but Mouse Spots is like what, number 5 team in the world. Na'Vi's number 2 team in the world. Kind of unfair to expect them to win best of 3s against these teams. Sure, maybe getting another map might have been a reasonable expectation. I don't think that would be entirely unfair for them as a squad, but I actually think just getting a map off Mouse Sports was decent enough. I don't think you could expect much more. These are two top teams.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this event, Na'Vi ranked number 2, Mouse Sports sitting at a number 7. And then, of course, if we just continue down that path, it's not really much to be said. Fnatic at a 14, but even at that point, this is the shell of a former Fnatic that we knew, where it made sense, where it was working for them in Katowice. Yes. However, now is not the same Fnatic that we're talking about.
It's also not just the Scream factor. Like, remember, this was going out in last place when they were at DreamHack Stockholm, I think it was. This is a team that has dropped. So, I mean, as a squad, I have to say, it's a bigger problem than losing Flusher. It's a bigger problem than having Scream come in as a stand-in. Like, one of the biggest flaws I've seen in the team, which everyone has noticed, is they have not managed to bed in Draken to the system that they use. Even when he plays well as a player, it doesn't fit with what the team's doing. And I have to say, that's one of the reasons I brought him into this team. They thought that they were actually going to be untap this potential. I know the coach was telling me like, they had an idea as to how they were going to use him, but I have to say, overall, and not for any of those reasons you might be thinking about.
So hey, you know what? We weren't going to highlight it. We're just going to kind of let you run with it or sit with it, however you look at it. But one thing that Fnatic going to have to sit now with is the fact that they are going home. They have been eliminated here from ESL One New York. And, well, Intel powered them to that loss. That's what I'll say about that. Maniac, what did you take away from here in terms of this Fnatic lineup and where they can go from forward?
Well, I said it first. I mean, it's a tough tournament for them. Obviously, I think they could have taken it against Mouse Sports. They lose it, then they match up against Na'Vi. They could have matched up against Gambit. I mean, no one could really say that Gambit was going to win that game. So tough luck for Fnatic. Obviously, I don't think they had much like big objective coming into this tournament. They knew they were coming here as a mix.
Holiday in New York as well, not bad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can enjoy the city. There's not much. I don't think they can have big regrets. I think Na'Vi was better tactically speaking. They were better individually speaking. We said the veto was going totally in the Navi's favor. Yeah. Both maps, they start City and they lose 10-5. That's a statement in itself. It means you basically had no chance. You never really had a fighting chance in that. So deserved win for Na'Vi, and I'm looking forward to see what they can do later.
There's things that Fnatic can do later. And some of those do include, but not limited to, Central Park, the Empire State Building, Times Square, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and most importantly, because they're free now and they're out of the tournament, the Statue of Liberty. They can go check that out now that they have all of this downtime here in New York. Because, I mean, it's not something where, hey, we can go practice. You know, you don't necessarily have a 5, or maybe they do. Maybe we don't know the plan. We can only speculate as to what they're going to do with this lineup. But how do you fix it is the real question.
I mean, personally, I think it's beyond one player change. You know, when you have results as bad as theirs have been, and when the biggest problem they have is even when they were losing games, they didn't look very good as a team. And then, as I said, the map pool actually notoriously weak. So to me, that's like you need to kind of wholesale, maybe change half the team.
Wholesale, fire sale, it's all come together so that we could sail on down to the sidelines where James Banks is standing by with a winner's interview from someone from Fnatic.
Thank you, Stunner. I'm joined by Na'Vi's Flamey after they just dispatched the Fnatic and eliminated them from ESL One New York. Now, Flamey, to start with, it was quite a convincing game, but you guys also played, I think, a lot better in your kind of teamwork and stuff. Did you kind of take this in a bit more of a relaxed style after the Gambit game?
Yeah, I think it's like we lost versus Gambit, and it was not what we expected. We had a team talk after the game versus Gambit. We discussed that we need to just relax. It's only first game. We always losing it. Nothing bad happened. So we just played much better than we played versus Gambit.
Now, you guys had a very good showing at the major, obviously getting into the grand final of that. You were previous winners of ESL One New York back in 2016. What would it kind of mean to you to be able to kind of battle back and do it again here for 2018?
It would mean a lot because New York is a very good tournament with such a good arena, Barclays. And I remember the emotions when we won the first time here. It was something special. So if we manage to win it again, we will be very happy.
Now, tomorrow you will face the loser between Gambit and Mouse Sports. Would you like the Gambit rematch, or would you just kind of not bother on who you face?
Gambit from CIS region, so I would like them to win tomorrow because they are good friends. But if they manage to lose and we will meet them, I hope we will play much better than today, and we'll show that we are a good team, and we will beat them. I hope that.
Thank you very much, Flaming. Much appreciated. For one last time, that is me wrapping up for the end here. Stunner, guys on the desk, enjoy it and let me know what you think of that.
I'm going to tell you what I think about that, James Banks. I heard the inflection in his voice when he said, yes, I hope they do well. That's a lie. He doesn't hope they do well. You can't take the highlight away. I'm kidding. It's cool to see that sort of regional camaraderie, but at the end of the day, you want to best your rivals within the region, so to say, regardless of if the team is actually walking I don't want to say zombies, but yeah, you get the sentiment I'm going with there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair sentiment to hope your region's going to do well. But obviously, probably they want revenge. I think your ego has probably hurt a little bit, losing best of 3 to Gambit when you're called Na'Vi and you just made second at the major. Not a good perspective, nothing to be happy about it. So they would enjoy a rematch, I guess.
Yes.
So, Duncan, give me a closing thought here that we can kind of run away with in terms of Fnatic, Na'Vi, and perhaps where either of them are going to go from here.
Well, as I said, for Fnatic, if you just look on paper, it's absolutely fine to lose to teams ranked in these positions, especially with the stand-in. I mean, you already would have actually been an underdog even with the real lineup that they had with Flusher. Then you've got to look at the Na'Vi side of the equation. It's really not panic stations. If you go and look at Na'Vi in a lot of their tournaments, they often lose the first game, the early games. They've even lost best of 3s in those star ladders. They've still come back, either won the tournament, always getting top 4 finishes pretty much. So generally, it's not something you worry about. Na'Vi can play ugly CS. They can still win when they do that, though. So I think they're still odds on one of the favourites for the tournament. The problem now is if they end up coming out in second place, which is where their spot would be if they get out, I feel bad for the team that wins the other group at this point in time because it's kind of a bit unfair to get Na'Vi in the semifinals.
Well, they certainly have hoisted a trophy here in New York, and that was a little under 2 years ago. However, we can take a look at what path they'd have to take now as we take this quick examination here of Group A brackets. And for what it's worth, looking at the elimination games, yes, Fnatic are out. Gambit Mousesports is going to be your winner's matchup. But I guess who do you guys see dropping down to the decider?
I'm kind of with Gambit to probably do it. But then again, if you can beat Na'Vi in a best of 3, why can't you beat this Mousesports team? It's not impossible.
No, I agree. I think it is hard to take much away from one best of 3, but obviously from Gambit to beat Na'Vi in a best of 3 is kind of a statement. So if they could do it against Na'Vi, they can do it against Mousesports. It's possible.
Bada bing, bada boom. Give me bracket B. Here it goes. G2 Esports and Team Liquid squaring off in a winner's match. That'll be a best of 3. But FaZe and NRG. Now, I think this one really kind of comes down to which FaZe clan we're going to see. Right now, I don't think the word shambles is the word I would use, but it was something that would rhyme with hit show is what I would have to say.
Well, this is a team in FaZe clan where they're used to expectations are we win the tournament. So if they go out in last place, this will be a massive shock. And people already know behind the scenes that at the very least they're thinking about roster moves. This is the sort of move that would accelerate that very quickly, I think.
No, I agree. I think for NRJ, this is the best moment possible to face. FaZe? That doesn't sound right.
To FaZe.
That's the best moment.
You had something right there. It was so golden, almost untouchable. It almost rained puns around there. You never really know. Let's keep it going, though. You talk about moving forward and facing FaZe. Well, how about we take a look at the schedule and see just how this one comes across. It's going to be FaZe Energy, a little bit of Gambit and Mousesports, followed by G2 and Team Liquid. Now, if G2 can come out today, or excuse me, the next day, it's going to be an interesting thing to see how they shape up after today's performance, of course, over FaZe.
Well, especially because if you look at some of the maps they're playing, okay, so one of their favorite maps is Infernal, probably Team Liquid's favorite map. They've been playing Dust 2. Team Liquid has been playing Dust 2 recently as well. Cash, that's actually a map that Team Liquid, if forced to play, will play. So I'm actually really interested in where the Veto will go there, because I feel like if you're G2, you at least get some of the maps you enjoy playing.
The problem will be, though, as in with every team with existence in his career, is that he's going to get punished on Mirage. Mirage is going to be the pick against G2 up until the point that they master the map and they can actually play it. Everyone's going to punish it against them. So it's almost like 0-1 G2 at the start. But if they can get the third good map, or at least like a middle ground, call it Inferno, Cash eventually, then they could have a chance, of course.
Sure.
Well, only time will tell, and that time will be tomorrow. That does it for us here, but one thing I'm going to send you off with would be the DHL moments that deliver. Don't let that confuse you with anything else. We're going to be back tomorrow at the same great place, roughly the same great time here at the Microsoft flagship store in Manhattan. We'll see you there.
and
ESL One New York.